Hello and welcome everyone to this video called Planning Your Crypto Endgame. And I think you're going to enjoy this one, so stick around. This is not the usual run-of-the-mill crypto video. So I've been thinking about this. Everybody is into price prediction, but where are we going? Do you have an end game in mind? And it's probably the most important thing. And if you haven't even thought about this yet, then you could be setting yourself up for a little bit of failure or a little bit of pain at the very least. So this is all about being disciplined in the crypto space, and I'm gonna show you some numbers and some calculations soon, get to the meat of it. Um, so many people buy or have bought into crypto at a very early phase, earlier than where we are now, and yet they've sold too quickly, they've squandered it, they made mistakes. The simple reason for that is they don't have an end game. They didn't plan the entire thing out properly. So I still think before we move on that where we are now, the crypto world just presents us with this once in a lifetime opportunity for redistribution of wealth, an opportunity to build wealth, get into new asset classes very early, be part of a mini revolution in finance, um, and store of value and even currency and more things that we can't anticipate at the moment. So I've put down in this video, and we'll see how it goes and see how the response is. 3 steps. I'm keeping it simple for now. This video won't actually be too long. And let's go through them. So the first is have your buy and sell targets. Know what point you want to get in from today, and a little bit of research is what you need to do, and watching videos is one way of doing research. But more importantly, get a get an idea of where you'd want to sell and try to stick to that. So I'm going to show you an example here. So this is Bitcoin, and that was the famous or infamous peak in December 17. And then we had really bad here, and this was the accumulation phase, right? And we had a bit of a mini bull run in 2019. Now, I thought that this was the start of the actual run taking us to the next high, up there. But that actually wasn't it. Okay, we had another dip. You need to zoom out even more. Now, on this trading view chart, maybe it's because I've got the wrong exchange. It's not giving me the full logarithmic curve, but that's fine. But I know that when I zoom out fully, I'm expecting it to go up from here. I'm expecting the next run to have a cycle peak of a certain value, certainly a lot higher than the near 20,000 that we saw. Let's look at Ethereum Bitcoin, which I've talked about in previous videos. Um, this one's slightly easier due to the inherent behavior over the last year or so. So there was a peak, and then it just dropped, and it's been flat for more than 6 months. That little peak or upward motion that you see there is what I've been bullish on for the last few months. And in one of my videos, I called this point here the bottom. So I know that is generally going up. And by the way, this isn't financial advice. This is just a YouTube video where we're having a bit of fun. But you knew that already, didn't you? So know your buy and sell points. Now that you didn't need this video to tell you that. However, what is important is the next 2 points, and I'm going to switch to my spreadsheet for that. And this is the meat of the discussion. Have an N number in mind. Did you have an N number in mind? And I don't mean Bitcoin reaching $1 million. That's not your N number. What is your N number, right? Do you want to come out of this, or maybe not come out of it, because we may never come out of it. If crypto is successful, we'll just continue. Do you want to reach a state where your asset value is $100,000, $500,000, or maybe $1 million? Have you even thought about that? Once you've got that, I'll show you how to try to maximize your return on investment. And I'll use previous um, assets of mine that I've shared on videos to make this a bit more interesting. So that in number in mind, some of you may just be purchasing every day, every month, dollar cost averaging. That's great. That's better than trying to time the market and looking at this type of thing. Even the professional traders get it wrong. So what hope is there for just an average Joe who has a day job? So dollar cost averaging is great, but if you're just doing it aimlessly, you are not maximizing your participation in this crypto revolution. So this is the state of the market at the time of recording, right? It's 5th of Feb. Zoom that in slightly more, and you can see there we're focusing on those two at the moment. Now, this is a spreadsheet that I've put together, and this is going to be very interesting. So have a look at this. And if you've watched previous videos, you should know by now that I like spreadsheets. So, end game 250,000. In this scenario, I'm making some investments, whether it's dollar cost averaging, buying. I'm buying now. I didn't get in early, okay? Hypothetically, once again, this isn't financial advice, just to make that very clear. I would like to come out of this with an asset value of 250,000 US dollars. Okay, and I've put three scenarios down here for you, and this is very important. So in the first scenario, we're going to buy some Bitcoin, and we're expecting at the next cycle peak Bitcoin to get to about $100,000. The reason I didn't put $1 million here is because that could be 10 years away. It may never get to that. A lot of people feel we're going to get to, let's say, between $75,000, $80,000 and maybe $100,000 in this next peak here as it goes up, right? So that's realistic if we expect Bitcoin to be successful. So if I wanted to get to this $250,000 asset value, then it's very simple. I need 2.5 Bitcoins. At a current price of 9,633, what that means is I would have to invest 24,000 roughly today to get 2.5 Bitcoins and then just hold that until it reaches this amount. And I could then sell it for that amount and bam, I've made my end game. Fair enough. So you're still getting decent return on investment. You're getting almost a 10, just over a 10 times ROI. This is what you would invest today, and hopefully this is what you would come out with in this game. This is just a game. This is not investment advice. But you can't leave it at that. You've got to, um, you know, bring in other scenarios as well. In the past, I've said to you, if you're a subscriber, I consider Bitcoin and Ethereum the two safest bets, and I'll come to this in a minute. And I'm not really big on altcoins. Maybe one or two I've talked about, but not really big. So in this scenario, we want the $250,000 asset value at the end. Okay, fair enough. What if we just, you know, bought one Bitcoin? So that's what we'd spend today at today's prices. And if it got to that value, that's what we'd have in the total column. But then we look at Ethereum, and many people feel Ethereum could get to $5,000. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that these peaks may not happen at the same time. For simplicity's sake, I'm assuming they will, and there's no reason why you couldn't get to this peak and it stays there, or you could sell if you're happy, and then wait for this one, and a few months later, this gets to its peak, and that's actually what happened in 2017, 2018. Ethereum peaked in early 2018. So keep that in mind. So now Ethereum's previous high was close to 1,500. 5,000 could be a stretch, but many people think it, given all the great stuff happening, DeFi, Ethereum 2.0, it could get there. So if it gets there, what would we need? We'd need another 150,000 to get to that number, which means we'd need 30 Ethereum or Ether coins. Okay, so that's these two combined. The current price today, as of making this video, you can see there, $202. So our investment would be 6,000. So when you add this up, you see you could, if we hit these numbers, for an investment today of about $15,500, get to this end game. Great. And you can even, you could say, what if I wanted 0.75 Bitcoin, and then I need to make it up slightly. Okay, comes down because we're expecting better performance on this. But then I've said to you that, and it's funny, I started talking about this late in 2019, and I think in Jan and Feb 2020, everyone's talking about it. You're seeing a lot more. The Ethereum Bitcoin pair, trading pair, massive upside potential here. Not guaranteed to happen, but the potential is there. So let's bring that into the scenario that I've got here. So let's say we go for one Bitcoin, and we go for um, 25 Ethereum. Maybe let's just try making this 20. Okay, so we're going to buy one Bitcoin today for $9,600. We're going to buy 20 Ethereum coins for an investment of about $4,000. Okay, and just to make this comparison fair, I'll just reset this. Yeah, okay, and we're going to buy Ethereum at 202 again, and we're going to buy 10, but we're going to trade it for Bitcoin when this ratio hits 0.05. Right, so right now it's 0.02. So we're saying it should get to 0.05, which is about there. So not anywhere close to its peak. It just has to get to that. Okay. And if we do that, we're going to spend another 2,000 odd dollars. And if Bitcoin gets to 100,000, we swap it out for Bitcoin, and we should get $50,000. So half a coin. You're going to get half a Bitcoin. Okay. You'll see your investment is exactly the same for the same outlay. So that hasn't really provided any benefit with these numbers. Where it will provide serious benefit, remember I reset this, is if this climbs up. So let's see, where did it peak? 0.8, 0.1. What happens if it gets back there? Some say it might go higher. This isn't financial advice. So let's say we don't invest in Bitcoin, or we invest in half of Bitcoin. Okay, we're gonna spend 4,800 on half a Bitcoin today because Bitcoin is safe. These are a little bit more speculative. Bitcoin is more safer. I wouldn't put nothing into Bitcoin. And this is the type of investment mix you should be having. We then expect price appreciation from this $200 for Ethereum. So this is low. We're going to expect it to go up. It may hit for 5,000. So we're going to buy 20 of these. And if it hits 5,000, we're going to have $100,000 worth of Ethereum. That investment is just over $4,000 today. Long shot and the massive upside, we expect this trading pair to get to 0.1. So we're going to buy another 10 Ethereum at $2,000, just over $2,000. But if this happens, we can swap that 10 Ethereum for one Bitcoin, and that'll be worth $100,000, as you can see between these two. In this scenario, we get to our end game, 250, with an investment of only $10,876.50. Now, you can do as many of these as you want and dream, and maybe one of them would even be real. But it's important to actually do it, right? So I wanted to share this with you. 250 may not be enough. In this spreadsheet, you can change this to 1,000,000 and work accordingly. And typically, if you come up with something like this, you put it down in paper, you're more patient. You're going to be more patient. You're not going to sell when this gets to 25,000. You're not going to sell when this gets to zero point 0.4 because you've got an end game in mind, right? And I think that's very important. So I wanted to share that with you, and I think this will really help a lot of you, especially if you're new to this type of thing. Now, I could say to you, if you subscribe to my channel or if you do Patreon, I'm not on Patreon. Um, I'll share this with you. As you know, if you're already a subscriber, I'm just a small YouTuber at the moment, so I'm also a nice guy. I'm going to share this with you in any case. Um, so you can download this and put your numbers in there. And all I ask is that you hit like and subscribe because the really cool stuff is coming up. I'm gonna track this. I'll end this video by looking at so to get that we use my equation which I've discussed in another video. We're gonna track this every month. When I made my first video, uh, well, it wasn't really the first, but the first of this year, talking about how you could get one whole Bitcoin for $1,300. And to be very honest with you, the reaction on some of the forums was very negative. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to track this. So right now, these are the numbers that you've seen. So if you invested 4th of Jan, that was the price of Ethereum. You bought 10 of those, 1,330. Okay. Um, Today you could sell that for about just over $2,000. If you spent the 1,330 on Bitcoin, which was at that price on that day, you would have 0.1814 Bitcoin. You could sell that today 0.1814 times 9,600. You could sell it for that. So Ethereum has overperformed, and that's why the Ethereum ratio has crept up as well to zero point zero 0.02. That reflects that. But what I said was, if you want the double gain on the dollar, my equation talks about the double gain on the dollar. You would have bought the Ethereum and swapped it out for Bitcoin, and you'd have more Bitcoin, and then you could sell that out. So basically, um, this is where you would end up. So if you want the full explanation of this, watch my other video, and I'll put a link to that. But the purpose of this video was the end game. So make sure you do these scenarios, and once you do it, you're less likely to panic sell, make a mistake. Um, so these are the 3 key steps. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. I'll leave you with this. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. So happy trading. And once again, if you're using any of what I'm describing and you are having success, just leave a comment, get in touch. I'd just love to hear if I've helped you firstly, and your success stories. So until next time, watch out for my next video in my next crypto video. Happy cryptoing, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you very much.